If you're the kind of man who's loyal, attentive, generous, but still ends up feeling like a side character in his own story, this video isn't just advice, it's your wake-up call. Because somewhere along the way, you were lied to. They told you women want safety, stability, support. But no one told you this. Women don't fall for men who provide comfort. They fall for men who awaken something inside them. And if you don't learn how to do that, she'll use you, then forget you, and you'll have no idea why. We're about to fix that. We're going deep into female psychology, attraction dynamics, and masculine power. This video is what no one dares to say out loud, because once you hear it, you won't play her game again. Let's begin. 1. She doesn't want a nice man. She wants a real one. You were raised to be good, polite, respectful, accommodating. You were told that if you gave your best, she'd give hers. That loyalty would earn you love. That presence would lead to permanence. So you listened. You gave your time, your attention, your loyalty. You became the nice guy, the safe choice, the stable rock. But instead of being chosen, you were overlooked, ignored, left. And you sat there confused, asking yourself, what did I do wrong? I treated her right. But here's the bitter truth that no one tells you. Women don't crave kindness. They crave polarity. You see, a woman doesn't respond to your perfection. She responds to your presence, to your depth, to the energy you radiate when you are fully grounded in who you are. The nice guy? He tries to be agreeable. He hides his edge. He fears upsetting her. But in doing that, he erases the very thing she's searching for. A man who knows who he is, with or without her. The nice guy seeks approval. The grounded man offers truth. And truth is dangerous. Truth is telling her no. Truth is walking away when respect is gone. Truth is not folding because she frowns or flinches. She smiles at the nice guy. She laughs at his jokes. She even says, "You're such a good man." But that's not passion. That's politeness. She doesn't crave the man who pleases her. She craves the man who awakens her. The man who holds his values with quiet certainty. The man whose standards don't shift depending on her mood. The man whose world doesn't orbit her approval. Why? Because women don't want to lead in love. They want to feel pulled, inspired, drawn towards something greater than themselves. The nice guy gives her a mirror. The real man gives her a mountain. One reflects, the other elevates. So if you've ever wondered why the woman you treated best disrespected you most, understand this. She didn't leave because you were too kind. She left because she couldn't feel your power. She didn't feel challenged. She didn't feel led. She didn't feel alive. And that's the difference between attraction and affection. Affection is soft. Attraction is sacred. So what do? You stop being the man who asks, what else can I give her? And you start becoming the man who asks, does she even deserve access to me? You choose truth over politeness, depth over performance, reality over approval. Because the moment you stop trying to be her fantasy and start embodying your reality, that's when the dynamic changes. She doesn't want a nice guy. She wants a man she can feel, a man she can't control, a man she has to rise to meet. So if this hit you deep, say it below in the comments. I choose to be real, not just nice. Because men who choose truth over approval, they don't just attract attention, they command respect. 2. Her respect starts where your neediness ends. Let's get this clear right now. A woman can feel your need before you ever say a word. You can dress it up in good intentions. You can mask it as love. But if your attention comes from emptiness, it doesn't feel like care. It feels like pressure. And pressure doesn't attract, it repels. See, what most men call effort is often just anxiety in disguise. You text too fast. You explain too much. You walk on eggshells. And you call it love. But what she feels is neediness. And neediness suffocates respect. Because the moment you need her validation to feel like a man, you've already handed her your power. You've told her, you decide my worth. You control my self-image. My emotional balance lives in your hands. And the truth is, no woman wants that responsibility. She wants to feel your strength, not become your crutch. You may think being emotionally available is the key, that the more you open up, the more she'll see your heart. But when your vulnerability is laced with desperation, it doesn't build connection, it builds doubt. Doubt in your certainty, doubt in your edge, doubt in your ability to lead. A woman respects a man who is centered, not one who is emotionally dependent. When you orbit her emotions, you abandon your own, and slowly, silently, she begins to pull back. Not because she doesn't care, but because she doesn't feel safe leaning into a man who can't hold his own ground. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing her approval is the moment she starts offering it freely. The moment you stop chasing her energy is the moment she starts pouring into yours. Because what attracts a woman deeply is a man who is full with or without her. The kind of man who doesn't flinch when she withdraws, who doesn't spiral when she's distant, who doesn't trade his masculinity for temporary closeness. He stands, still, rooted, unbothered. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he's mastered what he feels. You want to be irresistible? Stop trying to earn her through effort. Start embodying your value through presence. Because when you lead yourself, when you validate yourself, when you can sit with silence and not beg to be heard, she feels it. In how you speak, in how you look at her, in how you move. That's when her energy shifts. That's when she leans in. Not because you asked for it, but because she senses, this man doesn't need me, but still chooses me. And that choice, that's the most attractive energy a man can give. So if you've ever bent over backward for someone who gave you less, if you've ever stayed up wondering, why isn't she choosing me after everything I've done? It's time to shift. Don't lead with lack, lead with clarity. Respect is not a reward for effort. It's a response to stability, and the man who earns it doesn't chase it. So let's stamp this into your identity right now. Drop this in the comments. I lead. I don't chase. Let her feel your power, not your panic. Let her chase your energy, not escape your need. 3. If you don't lead, she'll replace you. Let's stop pretending. She didn't leave because you weren't good enough. She left because you weren't leading. You didn't lack love, you lacked direction. You showed up with your heart wide open, but no map, no mission, no masculine clarity. And when that happens, she starts steering. Not because she wants to, but because she has to. Because the energy of the relationship always needs leadership. And if you don't offer it, she will. She'll plan the dates. She'll set the tone. She'll manage the pace. But here's what you don't see. Every time she steps into that leadership role, she loses attraction for you. Not because she wants to dominate you, but because she's tired of holding what a man is meant to carry. She's not built to be the compass. She's built to feel safe in the direction of your presence. So when you shrink, defer, hesitate, she may not say a word, but inside, the fire dims. At first, she'll try to hold it all together. She'll make the decisions. She'll initiate the conversations. She'll ask where this is going, but eventually, she'll get exhausted. Not physically, emotionally, because no woman wants to mother the man she wants to desire. And here's the brutal truth. The moment she feels like she's the one guiding the relationship, she begins looking for a man who can. That's when she pulls away. Not because she wants someone else, but because she wants you to finally step into who you're supposed to be. So what does leadership look like? It's not control. It's not being louder. It's not barking orders or telling her what to do. It's direction. It's decisiveness. It's presence. It's the man who knows what he wants, who isn't afraid to go first, who doesn't outsource emotional responsibility to his partner. It's the man who says, this is the kind of relationship I want. This is how I handle conflict. This is what I tolerate and what I don't. Not out of ego, out of clarity. Because when a woman feels that level of grounded masculine vision, she exhales, she relaxes, she softens, she trusts. Not because she's submissive, but because she finally feels safe. And make no mistake, Safety isn't built in how much you love her. It's built in how little you fold. She doesn't want to feel like the leader. She wants to feel led, not manipulated, not forced, inspired. That starts with you. So ask yourself right now, are you driving your relationship? Or are you a passenger in your own connection? Are you reacting to her moods? Or are you creating a world she wants to be a part of? If you've been passive, if you've been pleasing, if you've been floating in her orbit instead of standing in your purpose, this is the wake-up call. Start leading, not with words, with direction, with integrity, with presence. And let her feel what it's like to follow a man who knows exactly who he is. If this hits something in your chest, drop it in the comments. I take the lead. Because the man who leads with vision never begs for attention. 4. What turns her on isn't your presence. It's your purpose. Let's dismantle a lie that's ruined more men than heartbreak ever could. You were told that if you just show up consistently, if you're there when she needs you, if you make her your priority, she'll fall deeper in love. And at first it works. She appreciates the attention. She responds to the affection. But then slowly, the spark fades. She replies slower. She seems distracted. You start to feel like a background character in her story, despite giving her your all. Why? Because you made her the center of your universe. And in doing that, you stop being the man who had one. Here's the hard truth. A woman is not drawn to your availability. She's drawn to your gravity. Your presence matters. But what keeps her coming back, what keeps her desiring you, is that you have something bigger than her that drives you, your mission, your path, your obsession with something beyond the relationship. That's what makes you attractive. Not your compliments, not your consistency, not your good morning texts. It's your distance. When that distance is backed by purpose, when she knows that even if she pulls away, you won't chase, because your path won't stop for anyone. That's what creates tension. And tension, my brother, is the birthplace of desire. Let me say that again for the men who keep losing themselves in women. When your world revolves around her, she starts looking for a man whose world doesn't. Because women aren't attracted to orbiters. They're attracted to anchors. Men who have weight. Men who have somewhere to be, even if she's not by their side. She doesn't want to feel like your hobby. She wants to feel lucky to be part of your story. You want her attention? Don't give her more of yours. Give her something to chase. Give her something to earn. When you pull back to work on yourself, when you disappear into your mission, your craft, your obsession, she starts to feel that ache. Not because you're ignoring her, but because you're feeding the part of you that existed before she came along. And that man, the man who's in love with his purpose, that's the man she wants to be loved by. So stop thinking your presence is enough. Start making your presence sacred. And you do that by not giving it away casually. You do that by letting your life speak louder than your words. She doesn't want a man who shows up every time she calls. She wants a man who shows up for himself first and invites her into that energy once she's earned it. So if you've been dropping everything for her and slowly watching her desire die, you already know what I'm saying is true. Your path is what brings her closer, not your need to hold her tighter. So type it in the comments right now. Not for her, for you. My purpose makes me magnetic, because presence without direction is just noise. But presence backed by purpose, that's power. 5. The less you react, the more she obsesses. There's a quiet power most men never learn, a power that separates the magnetic from the mediocre, the respected from the replaceable. That power is stillness, not silence out of fear, stillness out of control. In a world addicted to instant gratification, quick replies, over-explaining, knee-jerk reactions, your ability to do the opposite, to stay composed when most men collapse. That's what makes you unforgettable. Because here's what you don't realize. Most of her tests are subtle: a snarky comment, a withdrawal of warmth, a delayed reply, a cold tone. She's not always trying to hurt you. She's trying to feel something. She's trying to see, can this man hold his ground when I shake it? And most men fail instantly. They respond, defend, over-communicate, chase, explain. And in doing so, they expose the truth. They're not leading, they're reacting. But the man who pauses, the man who doesn't flinch, the man who stays rooted in his emotional frame while everything around him begs for a reaction, that man becomes dangerous because she can't read him. She can't pull him out of his balance. She can't shake his identity. And that mystery, that's what gets in her head. It's not the man who texts first that she thinks about. It's the man who didn't respond right away and left her wondering. It's the man who stayed calm when she tried to provoke emotion. It's the man who refused to explain himself because he didn't need to. Stillness is rare, and what's rare is always valuable. Let me be clear, this isn't about playing games. This isn't about withholding love to manipulate. This is about choosing composure over chaos. It's about understanding that every time you react from insecurity, you lose power. And every time you respond from grounded stillness, you gain respect. Women are emotional. That's not a flaw. That's the feminine. But the masculine isn't meant to mirror that energy. It's meant to stabilize it. You're not meant to spiral with her. You're meant to weather the storm. And when she feels that, when she realizes she can't throw you off, that's when her behavior shifts. She leans in. She softens. She begins to crave what she couldn't control. Because what she couldn't control, she starts to admire. So the next time she pulls away, let her. The next time she tests you with silence, embrace it. Let her feel the weight of your absence. Let her sit in the space you used to fill so easily. Because when you no longer jump at every shift in her mood, she's forced to face something she didn't expect. You are not like the others. You are not governed by her energy. You are grounded, unshaken, focused. And that stillness, that emotional independence, that's what makes her obsessed. So if you're ready to stop being the man who dances for approval and start being the man who commands respect, drop it in the comments right now. Still, focused, unshaken. Because the man who doesn't move easily moves more powerfully when he does. 6. She hides behind space when she's testing power. I just need space. Those 4 words send most men into panic. They overthink, they overreach, they overexplain. And that's exactly what she's waiting for. Because what she calls space is often not about peace, it's about power. Let me explain. Women don't always test you with words. They test you with distance, not because they want to leave, but because they want to see what you'll do if they do. Are you stable, or are you only strong when she's close? That's what she's measuring, because when she says space, she's watching you from a distance. She's checking your emotional spine. Do you spiral into neediness? Do you chase and apologize for things you didn't even do? Do you crumble at the mere suggestion of her leaving? If you do, she learns one thing. You weren't grounded. You were just propped up by her presence. And here's the part most men never realize. She doesn't always take space to think. She takes space to test. Because the moment she senses that your attention is no longer centered, that you've stopped orbiting around her moods, that your tone has changed, your pace has slowed, and your focus is returning to your mission, she feels it. And that shift, that unsettles her. So what does she do? She pulls back. She calls it clarity, time to think, or self-care. But underneath the surface, she's watching, not to see how much you care, but to see how much you need. And most men fail right here. They double text. They send paragraphs. They call late at night just to check in. They try to fix what doesn't need fixing. But here's what the grounded man does. He gives her the space and doesn't wait in it. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't perform. He simply returns to his path. Not out of spite, not out of ego, but out of clarity. Because a woman who pulls away to test your power needs to feel the strength of your independence. She needs to feel the quiet absence of your presence. She needs to sit with the decision she made and feel what it's like when you no longer orbit her world. That is how you pass the test. You don't punish, you don't ghost, you don't send cryptic messages, you stay composed, respectful, and immovable, because her distance doesn't shake your direction. It reminds you of it. And when she comes back, she won't find the man pacing in anxiety. She'll find the man still building, still focused, still powerful. The man who didn't fall apart just because she stepped away. That's rare, and what's rare is always remembered. So the next time she says, "I need space," don't rush in. Don't fear the silence. Don't negotiate your value. Let her experience your absence. Let her sit in the stillness you leave behind. And if she returns, she'll return with new eyes. Because the man who didn't chase her, he suddenly becomes the man she wants to follow. So drop it in the comments right now if this hit your core. I stay in my power. Because real men don't fear space. They own it. 7. Her intimacy is earned, not given. Let's get one thing straight. Just because you're consistent, loyal, and emotionally available doesn't mean she'll give you her real self. You might have her time, her body, even her attention. But that doesn't mean you have her soul. Because true feminine intimacy, her trust, her softness, her surrender, is not given by default. It is earned. And here's where most men go wrong. They think that showing up is enough, that doing the right things guarantees connection, that love is some checklist you complete for a reward. But she's not wired like that. She doesn't open up because you're consistent. She opens up when you make her feel something deeper than comfort. She opens up when she feels safe, not just physically, but emotionally, energetically, spiritually.